Welcome back to the channel, Joe Potter, Vintage Underground. And what I'm working on today is the heater air box on my Jaguar, and this on the Series 2 Jags like this, on either side of the cabin in the front are fans that drive air through the AC and heater system. And they also make the decision of fresh air versus recirculated air in the cabin. And they're controlled via an air actuator, vacuum actuator. I don't want any vacuum actuators. I don't want any vacuum control. Everything's going to be electric. So I am converting the control of the dampers, the decision of fresh air or recirc air, to an actuator. And I found these cool little, very small, high power 12 volt actuators that run 12 volts and one polarity. They go out, switch the polarity, and they come back. So pretty cool, and they'll fit inside the box. So what I'm doing today is switching them over and converting it. It's taking a little bit of fab work to do it, and but the net result is I'll have a very controllable, accurate electronic control of the air plenum. So one thing I did is on these air boxes they have a little temperature pickup with 2 wires coming in, and I'm going to harvest those 2 wires those penetrations into the little air box as my control wires for the actuator. They're already there. They're handy. I'll just cut the temperature thermistor off the inside and get that off and solder my wires on there. Other than that, I need to make the mounts for the actuator to the base, and how it connects to the actuator or the bell crank that operates the actual dampers. So it's not wickedly difficult stuff at all, but I do have to get the stroke correct for the amount of movement, so that it closed is closed and open is open, and you're basically at the either end of the stroke of this actuator. So going pretty well, and so far so good. So you can see here I've got the action working in the actuator. It's moving fore and aft. I'm happy with the movement. So now I'm going to take it all apart again and paint it, and then we'll put it back together for final assembly. Now, as you can see, I've got it all assembled, and I'm ready to install it in the car. And here it is in the car. And it works, it functions. The blower runs, nothing interferes, the actuator moves. So I'm really pleased with it. I wasn't sure I'd have the room inside for the actuator, but it worked out perfectly. So I'm really pleased with that. So the last time I went over the Jag XJ Coupe build, we were working towards getting it out of here and over to have the structure put in it. That means I have to get it so it'll sit on all 4 wheels, it'll steer just enough so we can move it on its own feet. We wanted the engine and trans in it, as well as several parts of the dash installed, so that we, and the seats as well, so that we know where the limiting factors are for putting in the cage structure. Now, I think I said last time, we're not putting in a safety cage. The entire intent of putting roll structure into this car is to stiffen the body. These cars do move quite a bit. They're notorious for it. So we're going to tie the front end together, and we're going to tie the midsection where the B pillar is. So the goal here is to make it handle well and not shudder and move as they will. So I've got a lot of the dash major components installed, and the goal here is twofold. One, I want to start working on the dash layout. and 2, for putting the strengthening structure in here, I want to have these components in here so they know where the limits are of where to mount tubes and that kind of stuff. So the bonnet is on the car because we're building our own plenum. We did dyno this engine with the stock Jaguar intake runners, but we're going to we have our idea for our own design. One of the things we need to know in relation to the bonnet is how much room we have available up in these corners for our plenum. And James, the same guy that's doing the structure for me in the car, is also building the intake plenums. So all that'll be done at the same time when he has the car here shortly. The other thing I had to do or redo was the transmission mount. Now this is a Tremec Magnum T56 6-speed on the back of the 6-liter V12. Obviously this never was in this car. So we had to fabricate a rear trans mount. Now I'll show you this one. This is one that Trent made for me, and it was awesome because it's incredibly strong. But I'll get under the car here and I'll show you one thing that we didn't account for is this space here on either side of this trans mount is actually where the exhaust goes. And so it's not going to work. So I did then design one on the computer and ran it out on the plasma table and welded it together, and it now is open on those sides. And here I'll show you what that looks like. So you can see here, this is the transmission mount that I drew and cut on the CNC plasma. And you can kind of see now, see this tunnel right along in this area on either side is where the exhaust goes. And it was a problem. It would have made it so that the exhaust system would have had to hung down below it and would have been a problem. And also I did make I added seat mounts for these new seats just inboard as well, and was going to be a problem. So you kind of see this transmission actually fits in here rather nice. Gets a little bit tight up here in the back, and I did have to modify this tunnel to pull this off, but it's actually not too bad at all. So next up, we get it down on the ground on its feet, and we can roll it out towards the trailer, and out to James for the next phase. Appreciate you watching. Please do like and subscribe, and we'll see you.